all of my infinite beings and friends. Welcome back to Infinite Wisdom. And the winner is Infinite Wisdom. Yeah? Alright, well, fuck it then. Alright, guys. Today, we're going to be talking about forgiveness. Self-forgiveness. And a little bit about what that actually means. Oh, guys, where do you start? Where do you just start with this? Like, I don't understand, but we got to start somewhere, right? Okay. So I previously did a video a little bit of a while back, and that video pertained to forgiveness. It was a little bit more pertaining to forgiveness of others. And usually I guess that's kind of where it starts. You start thinking of ways to forgive, right? You start looking at the reasons why you were the way you were, right? Maybe because it was the way you were raised, right? You're being around your parents. That's how you had to act, or that's how you had to feel, at any point in time about certain situations, or when it comes to, doing something, honestly, in general, right? And a lot of it, when you first go within yourselves to kind of, go through the process of weaning out the bad from the good, it, honestly, your mind usually goes straight to forgiving other people first. And that's kind of where my mind went as well, right? So it was kind of like, okay, well, I need to forgive, so I need to forgive any past friends, any family members, any past lovers, any of those different things, even your kids, right? Growing up into adult and having kids and stuff, maybe you need to forgive your kids for something or whatever, right? It honestly doesn't really matter, right? But that's usually, when you first get into this awakening process, that's usually the first route you go when you hear the word forgiveness. You start thinking more or less about other people and how to forgive them for the things that they've done, right? To you, in a sense. Okay? And you might hate me for what I'm about to say, but I'm going to be truthful. When it comes to forgiveness, honestly, it's not usually, sometimes it is about forgiveness of other people, but most of the time, it's about forgiveness of yourself. And I'm going to explain that a little bit more. And what I mean by forgiveness of yourself is, how I like to think of it is, when being kids, you kind of really don't know, right, in a sense of how to feel in a certain situation as a kid. You just feel, right? You really don't think about it. You just feel it as a kid, right? And as an adult, you grow up and it's just there. It's in your genetics, in a sense, right? It's something that you've kept throughout your childhood because you didn't know how to deal with it as a child. You didn't know how to talk it through as a child, or you didn't know how to tell your lover a certain thing because you were never able to do that as you grew up into the adulthood. But a lot of that stems from you allowing those things to control you, from you allowing those things to consume your mind and to basically make you what you are and who you are. Now again, as a child, you're not going to be expected to know how to fix traumatizing issues. You're not going to be expected to know these things. But as an adult, you grow into it. You start to realize a lot more than you were when you were a child. But as an adult, you start to realize that you allowed those things that your parents said to you make you feel like you were less than. Or you allow that one situation to change your whole entire mindset of thinking. You allowed your ex-lover to do whatever they did to you, or to say whatever they said, but you never felt like you needed to say anything. But you allowed it though, right? You allowed all of those bad experiences, all of those confusing situations turn you into who you are now, whether it's a good person or whether it's bad. And most of the things that we hold deep down inside of us, they're the bad parts of us. Everyone has a good and a bad side. It's just all about what side you want to portray to the world that's around you. And even with having that bad side, sometimes without even knowing, it comes out and you don't even realize it, right? You don't even realize what you're doing, or you don't even realize what you're saying. And in order to control those urges, those bad feelings, the feeling of lack, the feeling of feeling less than, the feeling of feeling like I can't make it, or the feeling like I'll never be able to do anything that I want to do in my life, that feeling only arises when you allow it to rise. But in the process of forgiveness, if you allow yourself to, yes, forgive others for what they've done, for what they've said, the way they've made you feel, and you not being able to express it, you need to forgive yourself. If you don't forgive yourself for allowing others to make you who you are, or for allowing others to make you angry, or for who makes you feel abandoned or insecure about yourself and who you really are, you need to forgive yourself. You need to stand up and forgive yourself. As a child, you didn't know what you were doing. You didn't have the mindset that you do now as an adult. As a child, it's kind of like you're a free spirit and you just go with the flow. You just go with the flow and it just doesn't stop, right? You're as a child, right? Like they say, children are sponges, right? They're absorbing everything that's coming at them, whether it's a good thing, a bad thing, a happy thing, a sad thing, an angry thing, a depressing thing, an emotional thing. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. But that's where we have to realize, is that as kids, we didn't have, in a sense, we really didn't have an option. We didn't have a choice. We didn't have a mind of our own because we were always being controlled by everyone else around us. But that's where that forgiveness comes in, right? When you learn to forgive yourself, you learn to relinquish anything that has been consuming you over the years. When you learn to let go of the things that you allow to consume you and to take over you and to manipulate you into acting a certain way, or being a certain way, or talking a certain way, it feels amazing. But you have to be willing to forgive yourself, just like you have to be willing to forgive other people, just like you have to be willing to change, right? Forgiveness isn't gonna come easy. It's not. And I'm not saying that it's gonna come quickly and be done and over with. Forgiveness is only what you make it. If you really want to love yourself, and if you really want to honor your own self, then you need to forgive yourself. You need to sit down and say, well, this is what I did. This is what they did. But I allowed them to put me into this situation, or I allowed them to consume me. But I forgive myself. I relinquished the pain that I gave myself to make me act this way, to make me hold this with inside of myself. I forgive me for feeling that I couldn't trust myself, or that I forgive myself for losing faith in myself. And I know it's hard, guys. It is. And honestly, sometimes that's why I said in the beginning that forgiving yourself, sometimes you don't really recognize that you have to forgive yourself in the beginning. When you first get woken up, you're thinking a lot more on an outwards plane, in a sense, right? You think of everything on the exterior, right? And I've been told by some very, very wise people that everything is within you. Everything you do, everything you say, everything that has ever changed the person you are, or everything that has ever made you who you are, always came from within. And a lot of us, we don't realize that. We don't think to go to ourselves first, because we're so used to being in a world where everything, they want us to rely. They want us to rely on them. They want us to be insecure. They want us to lose faith in ourselves. They want us to not trust ourselves. They want us to be down. They want us to feel at our lowest point so that we can't get back up. But if you learn to forgive, never forget, but you learn to forgive, whether that comes to another person or whether it comes to yourself. When you learn to forgive yourself, especially, you become a new person. You become the you that you've always wanted to be. You become, shall I say, an eagle soaring through the sky. You become free. You unleash that pain. You unleash that barrier that's been sitting on your chest. You let it go, and you let it go so that you can be free. But you have to understand, guys, it's not going to be easy. But I want you to just trust yourselves and forgive. You never fail. You will only succeed if you keep trying. Keep going, keep pushing. And you know, guys, I could go on and on and on and on. But I'm going to leave that right there. Please, guys, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Peace, love, and happiness.